Hey everybody, this is Jeff Edwards, and this is EDL 856, School Community Relations. This is my final course in my Fort Hays State Leadership Licensure. A little bit about me. I'm originally from Marysville, Kansas. That's where I grew up and went to high school. I met my wife while at Bethany College, and we were both in the education program, and we were both college athletes at the time. We've been married 22 years now, and we have two daughters, Clara, who's 19, and Lily, who is 14. And both of my daughters are actively involved in athletics. Clara just started her sophomore year at the University of South Dakota. She's a pitcher on the softball team there, and Lily is an 8th grader, and she plays all the school sports, but we also travel all over the nation playing basketball and volleyball. So on the professional side, I graduated from Bethany College in 2001, earned a master's degree in education from Baker University in 2008. I've been a teacher and coach for the last 22 years. I started in Osage City, and I had been in Clay Center, Kansas, and currently I'm in my first year as a principal at Lynn Schools, USD 223. Lynn is a pre-K through 12 with 188 students, so I've got kids from the age of 3 all the way to 18, and keeps you busy for sure. So as we get into what we were covering in the first module, one of the questions we were asked was what multiple forms of communication, oral, written, and digital strategies for reaching a variety of stakeholder communities do you currently use? So at the school, we've got an interesting dynamic. We have about 35% Spanish-speaking parents, and most of those students are bilingual. So we have to use multiple methods to reach our stakeholders and our parents. So one of the things we do is we'll use the school email. Typically that's communicating with staff and also communicating with some of the parents if we need to reach out. The translator tool helps us out tremendously as we do that. Another one that we use a lot is the school and district calendar. That is visited quite often by community members, staff members, and we actually print the school district calendar and we use it as a fundraiser for our school. We also have our handbooks. That's more for the students, the teachers, and we have classified handbooks, and then we have our negotiated agreement. We also use social media. Facebook and Twitter are the two main ones we use there. We have a cool program called Thrill Share, which I know a lot of districts use, but it's a program that we're able to use and get out multiple or get out a message by multiple means all at one time. So we can also put that out in translated into Spanish for some of our families there. For immediate feedback, we'll use phone calls. We use text messages and group messages a lot, and then our final way of communicating a lot with the younger kids is paper communication, and usually that's in both English and Spanish. So as we were studying here, the importance of introductions were broken down. That was the focal point. Some of the key information that we got from Zach's blog here was people want you to state your why, not your what. So a lot of that had to do with telling your story. He gave some suggestions that you should be here because there's a problem that you exist to solve. And that's kind of cool when I think about myself as well and kind of my journey and my story. And then also self-reflection and self-compassion needs to be present when you're doing this. So personally in my story, when I was 17 years old, I had an open class and I just decided that I would take a independent study as a teacher's aide in the 3rd grade, and it happened to be the football coach's wife. And I went over there, and within a short amount of time, I knew that I was going to be a teacher. And that kind of led me down the path, going to Bethany College, studying to be a teacher, being a teacher for 22 years. And during that time, I was also a coach of 3 sports, so stayed extremely busy. I was on the school leadership team, the district leadership team, the redesign team. So I'd done tons of leadership, but I never really got into the administrative role. And last almost a year ago. It was November 9th of last year. I was in a car accident, and I broke C6 and C7 in my neck, and just kind of opened my eyes a little bit and made me realize that I needed to continue with what I'd set out to do a long time ago, and that was to be a school leader. And that's when I decided to enroll at Fort Hays, and I accepted a job shortly after at Lynn Schools, and that's where I'm at today. So kind of cool. That's my story there, and it kind of leads into the importance of these introductions, letting people to get to know who you are a little bit. So the other part of this slide here, the unforgettable introductions that we read about, it said state what you want to be known for. So you shouldn't say who you are. You should state more of what you want people to know you for. Okay, and there's problems out there, and our resources stated that we should be a problem solver. Okay, a lot of people will have critiques, but many times they don't have a solution. So it's always important to be a problem solver as well. It's important that you ask friends or colleagues for input when you're giving your introductions. You just need like a test group that you can run by, what's going on and how your introduction is, because it's a very important part, because it kind of paves the way for the future. It's also important that you're vulnerable and yet honest. I think it's important that people get to hear your honest feel for what's going on around you, and you can also open up a little bit and let them know some of the personal stuff that maybe they wouldn't get to know before or in the past. And also resist reverting back to past introduction styles. Just the hi, this is me and this is my job. You wanna stick with with all of these key points that we have here. Tell your story, tell your why, and don't be afraid to be vulnerable. So next we're asked, do you follow a set district strategy policies for communicating effectively? Why or why not? I said although communication is not specifically addressed in our district handbook, it's emphasized in every school. It's emphasized with the parents. We utilize a multitude of communication methods. The thrill share that I mentioned earlier allows for messages to be sent via multiple means. We can reach a lot of people that way. Our small community uses local Facebook page often, and then Twitter and instant messages can be used as well. Emails, Google Forms, etc. are used to communicate with our diverse population. That allows for the information to be translated and meet their needs. Lynn has an enrollment of about 180 students, and about 30% are here with parents that are working through the migrant workers program. So there is a vast amount of diversity in the school, and the dynamic is actually really cool. Many of the parents are Spanish speaking only and require translator services for meetings or messages or any of the communication that we try to give from school. So that has been a challenge early on, but has been the diversity is an awesome thing to work with in the school. So as we look at standard correlation 5.3, which is communicate through oral, written, and digital means within the larger organizational, community, and political context when advocating for the needs of their school and community. I said this assignment directly correlates to the assigned standard, as we were able to research communication methods and present our findings using oral, written, and digital means. Additionally, we were able to reflect on our school practices when communicating with staff, students, and community members, and we specifically focused on our introductions to help foster relationships as we go. The relevancy of this assignment was relevant to my current learning because communication is a key element in leadership and community relations. Proper introductions and communication were the focus of the assignment, and both make a difference when performed properly. Properly communicating with staff and students helps to promote relationships and also allows for clear expectations to be expressed early in the school year. In the small school setting here at Lynn, community relations are directly impacted through my communication. By using multiple means to communicate, our school district is able to meet the needs of our students and stakeholders. And finally, our closing thoughts and reflection. As I look to the future as a building leader, I will use this content, knowledge, and past experience to further my understanding of communication. The resources that we covered provided multiple reasons for proper introductions and consistent communication. I found it interesting that people are more interested in our why than our what. As a leader, it's important that I take the time to let people get to know me as a person and to tell my story. This module has made me a better leader because I understand that when I properly introduce myself, I'm providing an avenue for a relationship to grow. I look forward to learning throughout this course and hopefully answering some of my questions. Here are my references, and I thank you for your time in listening to my presentation.